Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to try to score a snowflake pattern on our bread. We will need scissors and your lamp. So we're going to start with a round bowl and we'll dust it with flour to create the white canvas for our pattern. And I love using a toothpick to do guiding marks. So we will first divide the bread into quarters, and then each quarter will be divided into thirds. So overall we'll need 12 lines. And the reason I'm doing this is so that I will create 6 petal snowflake. 12 lines will help us to have very symmetrical. I use a round shaped pastry cutter to mark the center of the snowflake, and that will help me mark the ends of the snowflake petals. So when I start carving, the tip of each petal will rest at the outer edges of that round circle. Marks are pretty deep because I want the snowflake to stand out after it bakes. There were 12 guiding marks that I did, so they mark the edges of the snowflake, but also they run through each petal, so it will help me with my pattern afterwards. I'm trying to make sure that my score marks for the snowflake petals meet, because that way it just kind of comes up as like one long uniform score, and when the bread bakes, the snowflake will kind of rise in a uniform way and kind of pop out as one, instead of each snowflake kind of curving. I'm using the lines that go through the snowflakes to make shallow scores to kind of define the snowflake petals, as if they're the ridges of the snowflake. These do not need to be deep. They're just to enhance the pattern, so make it shallow. Now I'm going to make score marks around the perimeter of the original center snowflake, and I'm going to follow the original guide marks for the 6 petals. The score marks are going to extend towards the circle that I did with the pastry cutter. This external scoring is going to enhance the center snowflake after the bread is baked. And the score marks need to be just as deep as the original snowflake. And again, we're going to try to make sure that the scoring, the lines meet. Now you can bake it at this stage, but I choose to do short wheat husks between each petal. It just gives that extra definition for the overall pattern. And also it looks almost like an extension of the snowflake itself. Now at this stage you can go ahead and bake your bread, But I'm going to do a couple of more things to this loaf to enhance the pattern. First, I'm going to use a toothpick to do a small insertion in the center of the snowflake, and also to mark the petals of the outer snowflake scores. This is purely for aesthetical purposes. It doesn't affect how it bakes, it's just for the looks. Next, I'm going to use my scissors to snip the outer edges of the larger snowflake. This is again for more of a definition, and you don't have to use scissors. You can use your lamb to make shallow score marks around the edges. When we finish scoring, we're going to bake this in a Dutch oven. You preheat the oven for 500 degrees for about an hour, and then bake it for 20 minutes with the lid on, and then uncover, lower the temperature to 400 degrees, and finish baking for another 20 minutes. I baked it in my Challenger bake pan, which I love because it's larger and accommodates larger loaf, and I bake that for 20 minutes at 430 degrees with the lid on, and then uncover and bake it for another 20 minutes at 400 degrees. But I also have to preheat the pan for about an hour to 500 degrees in my oven. That is the manufacturer's recommendation, so that's what I follow. So I'll have the full method and recipe, as well as information about the Dutch ovens and bake pans I use, in the description below. The finished loaf looks great. The center snowflake stands out because of the external snowflake scoring, and the pattern is well defined and kept intact. If you like this video tutorial, I hope that you will hit like and also subscribe to my channel to get notified for more tutorials to come. If you're on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram for daily posts. I look forward to seeing you soon. Happy baking!